Hello, welcome back to A Case of Books. Today I'm very excited to be joined with Jen.
Hi.
Well, I say joined with Jen, I'm in Jen's house.
Yeah, she's invaded
Jen's joined with me, joined with me. So, recently, Jen and I were both judges for the Costa Prize. I was judge for Children's Prize and Jen was judge for the Poetry Prize. The shortlists were announced yesterday, so we thought we would just have a chat about the shortlists that we picked.
Yeah.
We've also made a video about what it's like to just judge a book prize, which is on Jen's channel. Each category has 4 books on the shortlist.
Yep.
So we're going to talk through the 4 books, alphabetical order, just to give you a bit of a taste of what they are and why we chose them.
Yeah, and by we, and like there are 3 judges in each category.
So the first book on children's and why I shortlist is The Bombs That Brought Us Together by Brian Conahan. Oh, Conahan. So this is set in Little Town, which is a country that neighbours Old Country, and it is about a boy, Charlie, and another boy, Pavel, who is a refugee from Old Country. And it's basically about their friendship in this sort of war-torn country. We like this one because it was both a very kind of confronting look at growing up in a war zone, but it's also really funny. Charlie's voice is hilarious. It's it's obviously quite dark humour, but it really made me laugh, actually made me laugh out loud. And I think it's really impressive to be able to balance those two things. It's genuinely quite different to anything that I've read in recent years. I'd find it hard to compare it to anything, and I think that it's always good to celebrate things that are, doing something a bit different.
Yeah, absolutely.
When they're executed well, obviously.
So the first book on our shortlist, and I'm going to do them in alphabetical order too, is Sunshine by Melissa Lee Horton, which I really love this cover, and once you read it you'll understand it's not about ice cream at all. So this is a collection. Melissa's work is very raw and very honest. This is about mental illness, it's about sex, it's about the relationship that she has with her partner and her children, and I'm just listing lots of things. But it's so, you feel like you shouldn't be reading this,
right?
Because it's basically her thoughts that she has thrown down onto a piece of paper, but in the most poetic way. I just thought that it was, I was going to say it's an honour to read something like this. I do think it is. I think it's an honour to read something like this. This one is brilliant, and I would highly recommend checking it out.
So this is the other kind of proper YA book, I would say, and it is Orangeboy by Patrice, Florence. This is about a 16-year-old boy called Marlon who lives in Hackney with his family. His older brother was involved with gangs and got into a horrible accident and is now living in sort of sheltered living. So right at the start of the book, this isn't a spoiler, he is on a date with a girl and she gives him a very small amount of ecstasy.
Okay.
And then later on the date, she dies. So that's kind of what kicks everything off.
Okay.
And everything gets worse. And it's basically a really moving story of how quickly people's lives can go wrong.
Yeah.
And what makes it sort of slightly terrifying is how often that isn't that person's fault.
Yeah.
However good your intentions are.
When people think, well, that would never happen to me. And you're like,
way that life and prejudices and experiences and your relationships can conspire against you, and it's basically Marlon trying to just deal with all of that. Marlon is the most lovable main character. You're rooting so much for him.
Next up we have Alice Oswald's Falling Awake. Now this woman knows what she's doing. I was in awe when I read this book of just the things that she was doing. I felt just applauding. That's very good, well done, excellent, fantastic. As the title would suggest, Falling Awake, it looks at things descending. So it takes a lot of influence from Greek mythology and talks about gods in the sky looking down at the humans on earth and gods coming down to earth, as Greek gods used to do. And then it looks at the point of view from the humans looking up at the sky. You don't feel like you're reading stories that you can't get to grips with, or that, this isn't meant for you. Someone who's maybe being quite highbrow about the subject. That's not the way she deals with things. She takes really heightened material and presents it in such a way that is just beautiful and for everybody, I think. I thought it was great. And very lyrical as well.
That leads really nicely.
Oh, does it?
Because this is about gods.
Oh, nice.
Well.
There we go.
So this is The Monstrous Child by Francesca Simon, who is the author of the Horrid Henry books.
Yeah.
This is about as far as you could possibly get
from Horrid Henry.
Which is part of the reason I love it. Hell, the goddess who runs hell.
Of course.
This basically
I know
is
how I just call
her
her.
story. But basically, it's like hell as a teenage girl.
Wow.
So she is just really angry about the fact that she has she has rotted legs, and she's just really pissed off about it. She's really angry that her dad is embarrassed about her, and then to make matters worse, she has to go and rule hell, and she doesn't have any alive people to talk to, and she just has to sit there and run hell, and she's so angry about it. It's quite dark. It's very dark. You know, she's ruling hell for an unspecified amount of time. Basically, it's really dark, but it also has these moments of real triumph. And I love the sort of idea of her taking control of her own destiny. I think you would really like it.
I know, I think
It's
I might
also
just have
it's very
to steal it.
it's very kind of poetically written. There was there's sentences in this that gave me goosebumps.
So the next one on my list here is Say Something Back by Denise Riley. Now, this is a collection that if you were going to sum it up in a line, it would be this is grief poetry. But I think that sometimes grief poetry can fall into certain patterns. So this primarily looks at the death of her son, and there is such a whirlwind of emotions in here. You get those poems where she's so can't think about anything else, like this is just like it's the deepest that you could go. And then you see all her different coping mechanisms, and it's called Say Something Back because she's wanting him to say something back to her because he's no longer there, but also asking the reader to say something back. But knowing inevitably that they can't because she's not there to listen to them. So there are lots of different layers of things. This one is going to touch a lot of people.
Right.
I think it's very powerful.
Right, the last book on the children's shortlist is the brilliantly titled Time Travelling with a Hamster by Ross Welford. Okay, so this is the story of a little boy called Al Chowdhury whose dad has died, and then he discovers this note from his dad where his dad tells him that he discovered time travel just before he died, and Al needs to go back and stop him dying. Whilst in many ways it's kind of like a classic children's adventure romp, it's also got these really beautiful moments about grief and family and finding your place in the world and fate and sort of like how in control you are, and if you had the chance to stop a sad thing happening, what would you? And he does a lot of time traveling, and obviously there's ripples and things go wrong, and it's him really learning about what is important. So it's got that really great balance of it's a really fast-paced page turner. It's very funny at times, but it's also got some really beautiful moments.
And finally, the last one that is on the poetry shortlist is Let Them Meet Chaos by Kate Tempest. You're smiling a lot.
I've not read any of these, but I've read other work by Kate Tempest. Yes.
Yeah.
Also, I really like the title.
Yeah, it's a good title. So Kate is a spoken word poet, and this is a slightly adapted version of an album that she released, which is her reading this poem but to music. It does say at the front, it says, Let Them Meet Chaos. This poem was written to be read aloud. It's also one long poem.
Oh, right, okay.
So you can sit down and read it in the space of, I don't know, like an hour or so. So this is set in London and looks at several people who are awake when everybody else is asleep, very early in the morning. They're going through very hard times. Some of them are at home, some of them are coming home from a night out. They're feeling rather exhausted and cheated by life. They're feeling quite angry. And this is a wake-up call to everybody who is not awake, who is not paying attention, who is not engaged in what is going on in the world right now. This is a very politically driven book, but in a way that doesn't patronise or ram that down your throat, but is still very present and unapologetic about what it is. It's a rally cry, it's a battle cry to everyone to pay attention.
I really loved all of these books, but I also think I'm really proud of the shortlist as a whole.
Yeah.
I think this really is, it's such a cliche, but there really is something for everyone on there, and I think that they make a really nice quartet.
Yeah, and now being a little bit distanced from it in the sense that we've had these meetings now and we've picked our shortlist. I don't know if you feel this way. In the moment when you're talking about everything, it's all very emotional, and you're very caught up in all of the other books as well that don't end up on the shortlist. But now that I've got that distance, I'm so happy with it.
Same.
Not that I wasn't like during those meetings,
it's hard to decide, and you really want to make the right choices.
Yeah.
And same. I'm really proud of these.
Yeah.
Right.
Go read them. Go read them, guys.
Please do. So shortlists for these and the other categories were announced yesterday.
Yeah.
And then the category winners are announced on the 3rd of January. So one book wins each category. And then on the 31st of January, there's an overall winner book of the year, which is the winners of each of the categories fighting it out.
Yeah.
So those are the dates to be aware of. So thank you, Jen.
Thank
Do
you.
remember to go and check out Jen's video where we talk about the experience of judging book prize a bit more. And I will see you soon.
Bye.